In this video, I want to talk about why your body might be clicking, and in fact, why your body might be just like this box of Rice Krispies. So stay tuned. Thanks for checking out the channel. My name's John. I'm the head therapist here at John W Sports Injury. Here at this channel, we are looking to do three simple things. Help you to understand your body so you can get rid of any pain or weaknesses and go and smash your sports, health and well-being goals. So if that's the type of content you want to be seeing, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification because we'll keep you updated. So, why have I got this box of Rice Krispies and why do I think this is like your body? Well, in our bodies, we can often do three things. We can snap, we can crackle and we can pop. And that's very much like Rice Krispies do. So, what are these three things? Why are they happening in your body? Is it a bad thing? What does it mean? I want to go through each of those things now. So firstly, why does the body snap? Well, the body may be snapping relating to certain tendons literally snapping over the bony prominences. By bony prominences, I mean where we have bits of bone that are prominent on the bone surface. So this sounds pretty bad, right? Well, not really. What we actually tend to find is that a lot of this snapping sensation can be painless. What is happening is that we have these areas in our body where we have bony prominences. Now, what are these? Well, these are often the points where muscles attach into on the bone. But actually what's happening here is that when we're first born and we're all cartilage and everywhere's soft, those muscles can just pull away a little bit of that cartilage. Then that cartilage turns into that bone and we end up with these bony prominences or landmarks. We all have them, non-problematic. But what does happen then is the muscle tendons then pass over those bones. And if we get tight in those muscles or we get some dysfunction in those muscles to a small extent, what we can get is this snapping sensation. And all that is the tendon passing over these bony prominences. So is this a problem? Well, most of the time, not really. And there's even conditions related to this called snapping, snapping hip syndrome. And this is where the gluteal muscles wrap around and pass a bony prominence called our greater trochanter. And we can just feel this kind of snapping sensation. Now, a lot of the time this is painless and therefore not too much of a problem. But what it is that it can be an indicator that certain muscles are a little bit tight. So if you are somebody who clicks, it might be worth investigating the flexibility around that area of the clicking to just make sure to see if you can make that pass a little bit more comfortably as you may be tight in the areas. So the next thing is that we can crackle. Now, what do I mean by crackling? Well, the common way we might see this is a feeling in the knee joint, for example. Perhaps if we're going upstairs or if we're squatting down, we can feel like a crackling sensation in the knee. Now, a lot of the time we generally term this crepitus, which effectively is a collection of rubbish in that area, if you like. So if we imagine in the joint, if we get little bits of damage, degeneration, things that happen over time, it can create this crepitus and that creates that kind of crackly sound that you might get. Again, is this problematic? Well, it's not something that we would necessarily want. It's an indication that perhaps there's stuff in the joint that we would rather not be there. But on the other hand, it's very common. And as with lots of things related to degeneration, it's something that does happen over time. Like we were saying before with the snapping, it's an indicator that something isn't quite as happy as it should be. So it might be something that you want to work on. You might want to improve the flexibility, the strength around the joint. You might like to seek treatment to make sure that this isn't something that's going to get worse if it is painless. If it's something that's painful, it's definitely worth investigating to understand really what might be causing that crackling sensation. And then finally, we can pop. If you spend time on YouTube and you might have seen the chiropractors and people who crack people with their backs and you hear that audible popping sensation, what is this? Is this a good thing? I hear, people who love this. I hear people who hate that and think it's a bad thing. Where do I sit on it? Well, what is it? We term it a cavitation. Now, what this means simply is as we manipulate a joint, the manipulation of the joint creates air being let out of the joint, if you like. So the air gets trapped in the joint when the joint becomes perhaps fixed. By manipulating the joint and releasing it, if you like, the air escapes and we hear that audible popping sensation. So is this a good thing? Well, yes, potentially it's quite nice. It's an indicator that we've freed up a joint, and you can often find a feeling of freedom and easier movement straight afterwards. Is that all that we need to do? Not really, because actually what we want to be doing is really understanding what's caused that area to become locked or restricted in the first place. So is it a bad thing to do? It's not a bad thing to do, because actually this releasing of the air is an indicator that it's freeing up the joint, but it isn't be something that we should then just be rely on doing only that and nothing else. So that is why your body may be clicking. So put simply, we're a box of Rice Krispies. We snap, we crackle, and we pop. All of those things are indicators that perhaps there's some small area of dysfunction. But what I don't want people to do is to worry too much about it. Ask people around you. They may well do one or two or all three of those snap, crackling and pop sensations themselves in certain areas. It is quite normal, but it's just an indicator to us of an area that we would at least want to just keep an eye on to make sure that we're keeping that as healthy and as painless as possible. Has that been helpful for you? If it has, you can help me by liking this video. That will help others to see it. And if you are someone who snaps, crackles or pops, let me know in the comments or hit that like button so I know this is the type of content you want to be seeing. And if you drop me a comment, I'll make sure I come back to you. And here's another video that might help you out on your fitness journey.